Okay, what we're going to do this morning is we're going to check out Weathernet um, and Oceans Mail, basically. So over here, we've got all of the apps or the downloads, if you will, from setting up our Oceans on our Iridium Go. And for now, I'm going to use the Wi-Fi for speed, and then maybe later I'll do a demonstration with connected to the Iridium. So first of all, this is just an instructional video that's loaded, a shortcut to that. We're going to skip that for right now. We're going to go right to Weathernet, which is the primary backup purpose for the Iridium. Should you run out of data or have some other kind of an issue with the satellite phone, possibly losing the radar post or some other malfunction. So double clicking on Weathernet. First of all, one of the things we're going to see is this is somewhat of an outdated feeling and slightly clunky interface. And what I've gone and done here is when I opened it up, first it launched what it calls here the launch wizard. Okay, and that launch wizard here takes you through some steps, asking you some of your preferences. Asking you some of your preferences, and what it's doing there. To be clear, I'm cycling through this very quickly here, but I'm going to tell you what that little wizard there is doing for you. Okay, what that wizard is doing for you, it is setting up what will appear over here in this left nav. So there are more or many things that WeatherNet can do for you. And if you do not, through the launch wizard, click them, they do not become available here in this shortcut menu, if you will. I presume there are other ways, I'm certain there are other ways to navigate through to those things by clicking some of these buttons up here. And you see that took us through to the buoy page, which is one of the pages of the wizard. In fact, you can see if I go forward and back and stuff that I'm in the wizard itself. So these are sort of like the steps of the wizard, and if they are selected in the wizard as pre-select, they'll appear in the left-hand nav. Okay, so what have I gone and done here? I've pre-selected some things on this computer, laptop number 2 for Warrior 1. I've said wind and surface pressure. I've clicked 5 days, got wind for the very high res, and then I've got a whole bunch of hours, and I've got basically nothing else selected other than some stuff here in the end, which is, I think, not related to anything appearing in the wizard, or we're on that left nav. Okay, we're not utilizing the GPS. There was a screen there for that. So, okay, so what do? Well, I've got to I need to get this map here over to where I want it to. And I'm trying to click and drag, and it doesn't reassign. It doesn't go back over to there. It's got this fixed position here. So how do I get it to be Newport, Bermuda? I believe, if I recall, yeah, left click and then drag for the area, and now it's going to zoom. If you start in the lower right and try to go up to the left, it doesn't work. Just a little anomaly there. You have to start in the upper left and go down to the lower right. I have not tested if from the other sides if it goes, but as I'm doing now, I can see that no, nothing works other than the directional upper left to lower right. All right, and you can just see that little spot right there, and that's Bermuda, and obviously this is our area. If you're at sea, you might want to try to get a little more precise on your area of picking, and if you're halfway there or something, you might want to do that. Makes the file size smaller. Of course, if you don't go out here, you may not see some weather or something else coming over here. So you've got to be the judge of that. All right, so selecting our area there, I think that's pretty good. We could zoom in on it a little bit, and the red box is still staying at our location. And now we can go over here, and this is not a resizable window. We have to sort of go back and forth with this thing to try to read and see what it is that we're selecting. What you're going to see is that when you do pre-select something, that stays selected. The next time you go back to download it, it'll try to download that. It's important to know because if you have a whole bunch of checkboxes checked and you didn't realize it, you're going to still go back and download those things. They may not be viewable to you So anyways, GFS Global 5-day forecast, right, with surface pressure. That's our basic. That's sort of what we want. I have that clicked and I say download. It's going to say download folder. Okay, weather files wizard batch. It's putting it in a folder in documents that's weather files wizard batch. That is now going to be the folder name where you can go through Expedition to look for these files. Say yes. Okay, now it's pulling up the Ocens interface. Okay, this is sort of a standard interface for their mail and their other downloads. And what you can see, right, look at this window here. If you want to understand how to use something on a computer, right, read every word on the screen. Nobody ever does that. Read every word. And it says it's going to charge us 50 cents there. Not sure about that. And you can mouse over these buttons, and they may give you, if you're lucky, some indication of what's going on. So go. Right? How about go? Opening connection to server, it's narrating for us here. It's downloading a BZ2 file, which is a compressed file. That's great. It says it's received, it's good, all good, and it's put it in that folder, right? So that's good. Don't worry about this little thing here that says update. That is not about the software. That's about like a database of available products. I'll try to update that maybe later, but don't worry. Okay, that's it. We're done. We downloaded a weather file. Okay, so where is it? Let's go look for it. I'm launching Expedition. I'm going to go over here to weather, to settings. I'm going to uncheck or clear all that stuff that was previously there because that's from something else I had been doing. I'm going to click on Grib folder, right? So Expedition Grib. It did not go into the Expedition Grib. It went into Documents, Weather Files, Wizard Batch, and look at that. There's a file, 6:23 a.m. Open up, open up. Go to now, and there it is. And look, it looks like I messed up. Did I not select wind? Did I just do surface pressure? That may be the case. That is just surface pressure, and you can see that's a pretty macro, not so high-res file. Surface pressure GFS Global, that's what I did. I did surface pressure GFS Global only. All right. And look, and there's one that says high-res, and there's one that just says GFS. Right. So what's high res mean? Well, it doesn't tell us, but it's presumably the tightest level of degree. That's really probably what we wanted. And let's go back here in GFS high res wind. So we've got high res surface pressure and high res wind selected. We've got our area. We say download. The screen comes up. I say go. It's going through and it's connecting. This is again on Wi-Fi and very quick. This would probably be a 4-minute download on the sat phone. It says it's done. It's good. I can close this. Okay. All right. This is something that that Weathernet will do. So what happened? I've got it set here to auto launch a program, and this is its default thing that it does. Right, and it doesn't tell you. Let's see. I have to go down here to data management preferences, and what you can see here is data management preferences, these little ones and zeros, data management. Its default is run iView. Not exactly sure what iView is, but run Grib Explorer on Gribs only. So it's popping open this program. I wouldn't frankly change this. I might leave it as is. I'll show you why I'll tell you why, because the ASCAT files, if you download an ASCAT file, which is scatterometer satellite download, you want to mouse over the areas to see the age of the data. I'll try to do another little video on that later. The ASCAT file is a pretty helpful thing to download. So we'll say OK. I'm going to go tab back over to that Grib Explorer. So this is showing us the Grib that we downloaded. I don't really use that other than for looking at the ASCAT when downloaded from Weathernet. All right, go over here, weather settings. I'm just going to look at the last two that I downloaded. Well, let's see. Right, so I'm selecting the different weather. I'm going to show you that is the surface file, pressure file I downloaded, quote, incorrectly, right? And then these are the next two that I did, wind and pressure at a greater resolution. Say okay, say now, there we go. And so that's 5 days to Bermuda right now. A little bonus here for you on the end of this Weathernet. Should I do that? Let's see. Well, you really got to play around with this thing and sort of get used to it and understand it some. Um, I'm going to end here by saying, okay, I downloaded that GFS 5-day pressure and wind. That's the basics of what you want to do. I'm going to end it with a little optimal bonus for you. Optimal routing. If I started in an hour at 0700 to go to Bermuda, um, and I had a course, which I don't, then we would be able to have have an optimal route. So we're gonna actually the course edit marks. It looks like I already have one in there. Oh stop! What's this thing doing? My gosh. Okay, edit marks. There is an easy, simple view in there. I'm gonna go to that. Set active. Say okay. Optimal. Optimize. Based upon the where when polars that are loaded. Boom, it's doing that. There's no current in this file, so that wouldn't probably be a good thing to do. Um, so, okay, actually this has been a good exercise because I want to say, well, is there a current file that I can be getting uh, through um, through Weathernet? And there is surface currents from Navy charts Gulfstream only, surface currents from Jennifer Clark Gulfstream only. I'm not so sure she's providing right now a grid file. Surface currents from grid. Okay, this stuff. We're going to go with surface currents from grid. Well, no, let's check all three of these, then they'll appear in the menu, and then we can play with them. You can play with them. Be wary. Understand what they are. So they're over here someplace, right? Now, where did they appear? They're down here at the bottom of this menu. And look, it says Pro Services. It doesn't say Jennifer Clark, and it says over here Navy Currents. So what you really need to do is you need to play with this. But let's say black and white Northern Gulfstream, black and white analysis, grid wind wave, W3, these, which one of these is going to give you a current grid file? Well, hopefully you're using this as an emergency and a backup. Let's go ahead and check them all and see what we got. It's downloading GIF files. I can see it. It does us no good. GIF files do no good, or GIF files if you want. We need grid files. Was the first one, was there a grid file? Well, remember it downloaded anything that was checked previously. So it just downloaded the weather files. And this confusing thing, right, where it's loading up the Grid Explorer. Is that confusing? Well, there's our GIF file, our image that loaded, right? Okay, there we've got, some more, they've got the Navy analysis charts that have loaded. Actually, that says Gulfstream content. Oh, that's Jennifer Clark's. That's Southern Gulfstream. C66. Is this stuff actually updated? Well, it says it is. Find Bermuda on there. This is all like hand-drawn stuff, literally. Right? That's Jennifer and her pencil. She means well. We'll leave it at that. Right? So we want a grid file. There's no grid file here. You're going to have to explore and figure that out some. I like this as a backup. Okay.